Awaken your true potential. The bamboo lesson, a story that may reshape your life. Awaken your true potential. The bamboo lesson, the quiet village and the unquiet heart nestled deep between rolling hills and mist-covered mountains lay a small and peaceful village known as Bamora. It was a place where the mornings smelled of dew and the evenings hummed with the sound of bamboo leaves brushing together like soft whispers. The villagers lived simple lives: farmers, potters, weavers, and elders who sat beneath old trees telling stories of the world before the world became complicated. But among them lived a boy, named Rainin, who felt anything but peaceful. Rainin was 16, with curious eyes and a heart that refused to sit still. While everyone else in the village seemed content with the rhythm of life, Rainin constantly felt a stirring inside him, something calling, something urging, something he couldn't name. He wanted to understand his purpose, his strengths, his place in the world. But every time he tried to step forward, he felt lost again. He would often walk alone to the bamboo grove, a sacred forest of tall, graceful bamboo that stood at the edge of the village. The elders called it the forest of patience, because they believed bamboo held wisdom that humans desperately needed. Rainin would sit there for hours, listening to the wind whispering through the leaves. Why do I feel so different? Why do I feel like I am meant for something more, yet I cannot see it? One evening, after yet another day of questioning himself, Rainin whispered aloud, "What am I supposed to become?" The bamboo did not answer, at least not in words, but sometimes silence is the first door to wisdom. The meeting that changed everything. One foggy morning, as Rainin approached the grove, he noticed an elderly man bending over a small plot of soil near the bamboo. The old man wore simple robes, carried a wooden cane, and moved with a calmness so deep that it felt like the mountains themselves bowed in respect. This was Elder Aiko, a man who had lived more years than anyone could remember. Some said he once traveled the world, others said he studied under great sages, but no one truly knew who he had been, only that he possessed a quiet wisdom that people instinctively trusted. Rainin hesitated but finally asked Elder Aiko, "What are you planting?" The old man smiled without looking up. "A seed," he answered softly. Rainin blinked. "A seed? But it looks like nothing has grown here for months." Aiko laughed gently, the kind of laugh that already knows the ending of the story. "That is because bamboo takes time, far more time than most people are willing to give." He stood and leaned on his cane. "Tell me, Rainin, what brings you here every day?" Rainin swallowed. "I am trying to find myself, I guess. I feel like I am supposed to become someone better, but I don't know how." Aiko studied the boy for a moment, his eyes filled with understanding. "Then you are ready to learn the bamboo lesson." Those words marked the beginning of Rainin's transformation. A seed that refuses to grow. Over the next weeks, Elder Aiko taught Rainin how to plant bamboo seeds, how to water them, how to protect them from wind and animals, and how to watch over them with patience. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed. Nothing grew, not a single sprout broke the surface. Rainin became frustrated. "How can something take so long?" he complained. "I've been watering these seeds every day. Why is nothing happening?" Aiko placed a gentle hand on Rainin's shoulder. "Listen carefully. Bamboo spends its first 5 years growing its roots, not its stalk. While nothing appears above the soil, everything is happening beneath it." Rainin frowned, trying to understand. Aiko continued. "Strength that is visible is built on strength that is invisible. People are the same. Before you rise, you must develop the foundation that no one can see." Rainin lowered his gaze. "Is that why I feel like nothing is happening in my life?" Aiko smiled warmly. "Exactly. You are growing roots, Rainin. Your time above the surface has simply not yet come." Those words planted the first seed of hope inside the boy. the discipline of patience every day. Renan returned to water the soil every day. He stared at the same silent ground, but slowly, very slowly, something in him changed.
He no longer looked for instant results. He no longer felt worthless because progress seemed invisible. Instead, he began to trust the process. He learned that patience is a strength, that effort without reward is not wasted, that unseen growth is still growth, that self-mastery starts from within, not from applause. One afternoon, he asked Aiko Elder, "Does bamboo ever get discouraged?" Aiko chuckled. Discouragement comes only from comparison. Bamboo never compares itself to the oak tree beside it. It simply grows at its own pace. Renan felt the truth strike him deeply. He had been comparing himself to everyone, friends, neighbors, even strangers. He envied their talents, their confidence, their clarity. But now he began to understand. Comparison was the thief that had stolen his peace. Patience would return it. When the storms arrived one night, a violent storm swept across Bamora. Winds howled, trees bent dangerously, and rain poured like the sky itself was collapsing. Renan feared for the bamboo. At dawn, he ran to the grove, heart pounding, expecting destruction. But what he saw left him speechless. The bamboo stood tall, not broken, not uprooted, only bent, swaying gently in the breeze, as if bowing to adversity rather than breaking under it. How? How is this possible? Renan asked. Aiko, who had arrived quietly beside him, said, "Because bamboo knows a secret. Strength is not rigidity. Strength is flexibility. Those who refuse to bend, break." Renan felt the weight of that lesson settle into his soul. He remembered the times he tried to appear strong by resisting change, by refusing to ask for help, by pretending he wasn't struggling. But true strength, he now realized, was the ability to adapt, to bend, to endure, to rise again. The day growth finally appears. A full year passed. Every morning, Renan watered the soil. Every evening, he sat beside the grove and listened. And then one early morning, as sunlight filtered softly through the leaves, Renan noticed something tiny, green, and delicate breaking through the earth. "Elder Aiko," he shouted. "It's happening." Aiko arrived, smiling knowingly. A bamboo shoot thin as a finger had finally emerged from the ground. "This," Aiko said, "is your proof that patience has power." But what happened next was even more astonishing. In the weeks that followed, the bamboo didn't just grow. It shot upward 1 meter, then 2, then 5. By the end of the 6th week, it had grown almost 40 meters high. Renan stared in awe. How can something grow so fast after doing nothing for so long? Aiko answered, "It wasn't doing nothing. It was preparing. Just like you." Renan's throat tightened. For the first time in his life, he believed in his potential. A new purpose awakens. Renan felt something shift inside him. A new clarity, a stronger sense of direction. He began helping others in the village, teaching children discipline, comforting those who felt lost, motivating friends who wanted to give up practicing skills he once abandoned. And little by little, he transformed. Not loudly, not suddenly, but deeply. Villagers noticed the change in him, his confidence, his calmness, his wisdom beyond his years. One evening, Aiko said,
The first signs of the self-awakening day by day, Ria wrote more and more. He began to feel that the pendant wasn't just an object, it was a mirror reflecting a part of him he never knew existed. His confidence grew. Little by little, he found himself doing things he once feared, speaking up in class, joining a writing contest, reading new books, imagining bigger dreams. One afternoon, his teacher approached him and said, Ria, your work this week is exceptional. I've never seen you grow this quickly. Did something inspire you? He hesitated, then murmured softly, I am just starting to believe in myself a little. The teacher smiled warmly and tapped the notebook in his hands. Ria, you can go much farther than you think. Those words, you can go much farther than you think, unlocked something inside him. When doubt strikes again, but life is never a smooth road, some classmates began mocking him. Wow, look at you, thinking you Ray some great writer. Calm down, you Ray not special, stop pretending. Their laughter stung. Their words sliced into his newfound confidence. That night, Ria sat at his desk, unable to write. The pendant lay in front of him, but doubt wrapped around his mind like a cold fog. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I am not talented. I just got lucky before. Maybe I am just fooling myself. He stared at the pendant for a long moment, then his eyes drifted to the old message attached to it. Only by facing your own doubts will you awaken your true potential. Ria exhaled slowly. Yes, perhaps before he could rise, he needed to face himself, his fear, his insecurity, his disbelief. He lifted his pen again, slowly, unsteadily, but with determination, and word by word, the fog inside him began to clear. The writing returned, gentle at first, then stronger, then alive. Ria had discovered something important. Courage doesn't come when everything is easy. It comes when you choose to keep going even when everything inside you tells you to stop.